Alright, all, I have no earthly or celestial idea what I'm doing, so welcome to my very first, I guess, time-lapse, whatever, video of life drawing. This is what I do to warm up every time I'm doing art. So, uh, for those of you who have no earthly idea who I am, my name's Alex. I am a self-taught freelance artist that is also currently dealing with a full-time job otherwise, which is why I'm not doing it professionally just yet as my sole source of income. As to why I'm doing this, I always enjoy seeing people's figure drawing and art and kind of the weird background stuff you don't usually see, as well as the finished pieces, which is why I'm posting this. The folks who follow my Discord and other general people get to see this kind of stuff, but unless you manage to hit one of my streams, usually you are not going to see one of these. So this video won't be too terribly long. It's sped up to double time, so you don't have to listen to me talk for the full 30 minutes. I just thought I would do this to kind of introduce myself and also to show that, you know, if your life drawings suck at first or they look like squiggles like these do, I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It seems like a lot of people have this idea that the finished product that an artist actually puts out are the only things that they work on, or that it looks awesome from the beginning. It doesn't. A lot of times drawings will start as just weird squiggles just like these. These drawings here are 30-second gesture drawings. Like, literally, I have a website I go to that I will link in the description box called Line of Action, which has 30-minute drawing courses, and actually at the suggestion of an artist in Imagine FX, I started doing these 30-minute courses as warm-ups. Just something to kind of get my brain into the space that it needs to be in to be able to comprehend volumes in space, which sounds a lot more technical than it is. It's basically just getting my brain into the drawing mode, if you will. I'll have the issue where it's very difficult for me to kind of manipulate volumes of shapes in space accurately, especially in relation to things like their size to one another, which is why perspective is something that I definitely struggle with, and foreshortening is something I struggle with. So I started doing these to force my brain to, one, stop critiquing itself so harshly the second that I put a single line on paper, and two, start to understand a little bit better where exactly and how exactly the volumes of the body and everything relate to each other. I'll try to refrain from making this sound too incredibly dull and technical. It's mostly just, I wanted to post something. I wanted to start creating videos because I always enjoy seeing them on Instagram or on YouTube of people drawing and how they draw and where they start. And also, it's just yet another social media platform to reach people on. I like connecting with people. I like hearing people's thoughts on my artwork. I like people in general, for the most part, despite the fact being I'm a misanthrope and a cynic and half a dozen other things. I enjoy the connections that art often brings to people. So I wanted to throw in something for people who do like seeing the behind the scenes, who do like seeing the, hey, how it is it that you get from a blank piece of paper to this finished painting that I'm looking at. A little bit of information on what exactly I'm using as far as programs go. This is Clip Studio Paint. I believe at the posting of this video, they're having their summer sale where you can actually get the program for 50% off. So definitely be sure to check that out. Even if not 50% off. They have these sales pretty often, and also it's maybe $60 as opposed to Photoshop, which if you don't have a student discount is what, something like $600. I don't know. I haven't looked it up in a while because I just look at it and go, ah ha ha, no, and close the window. So, alternative to Photoshop, there are also free programs out there. I mean, I used GIMP for a long time. It's based off of Photoshop, and I have no background in Photoshop, which is probably why it was extremely difficult for me. From there, I jumped to the issue of Adobe Painter Essentials that I got with my Wacom tablet that I used with my old computer. What I am currently sketching and drawing on that you are seeing here is actually a Surface Pro 4. I have the one step up from the most basic, just basic bitch version you can have, basically. I don't have the money for a super duper fastest processor, fastest whatever, because I'm still unfortunately doing this, of course, as a part-time kind of thing. So, that's the stats, I suppose, on the program I'm using, hardware I'm using. I do have the updated Surface Pro pen, which I highly recommend you invest in that. I know it's another $100 on top of the Surface Pro, whatever, but I found it to be a lot more accurate and a lot more responsive. But if you're also using the out-of-the-box pen, everything that I've done up until a few months ago was done with the out-of-the-box pen, so you certainly can still create art with it. It's anytime you're looking at art and materials people use and everything, please keep in mind that you don't need the most top-of-the-line materials, you don't need the most expensive paint, you don't need to absolutely have to draw in charcoal or absolutely have to draw in pencil and then ink in with a crow tip pen. Just find something that works for you and just run with it. Run screaming with it. If somebody doesn't like it, it doesn't really matter, to tell you the honest truth. If you ever see any of my traditional inking, I do it in ballpoint pen. That makes most quote-unquote real artists probably want to tear their hair out. But it works. I mean, it works for me. There are pitfalls that I wouldn't have if I was actually using what I started off with, which I actually started off with an actual dip pen with nibs and Black India ink and everything, and it's beautiful. It creates wonderful dark lines, but I am also not so great as far as steady lines, not accidentally cutting the paper with my pen because I press too hard. I have cats, so I don't like having anything that has to sit and dry, especially when I'm doing things like inking. I like to be listening to TV shows and that kind of thing, so if I move out to where my TV actually is, I'm not gonna risk my cats jumping up and going, oh hey, what's this? Smack, and then getting Black India ink all over my workspace, all over me, and all over everything else, because that does not come out. So do whatever it is that works for you, is my point. And if you want to not do digital or not do traditional, whichever, that's fine. You don't have to be a master in all mediums. Don't even worry about it. A lot of people seem to be under the false impression that if they can't do everything, they're not doing something right. And I don't think that's fair, really. You shouldn't have to be a master at drawing traditionally before you're allowed to be good at drawing digitally, if that makes sense. It's a good skill set to have, yes, and I think it's worth pursuing to see like how you do in different mediums. Like, for example, I suck at charcoal. I'm bad at it. I'm terrible. I don't understand it. Like, people who get these beautiful smooth gradients, I'm just like, okay, I don't know how you pulled that witchcraft off, but look, I made this wonderful charcoal blob. Isn't it beautiful? So it's not my thing. I've worked at it to try and get a little bit better at it, so I understand it a little bit more, But it's never going to be my thing. It doesn't work for me. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the other kind of reason I started doing these videos, is that I love what people do in makeup tutorials, where they just kind of talk to their viewers, and I don't see that as much in the few art videos that I do go out and pursue. I think it has a lot of merit to just be able to sit here and just talk about art and the process thereof and what I kind of do. It's interesting that way, I think. It's part of what I loved about the late, amazing Anthony Bourdain's shows, is that it's not this pretension, it's not this idea that you have to be the expert on everything you're doing, or else what you're saying or doing has absolutely no merit. It's dangerous to think that way, I feel. I think that you should have an idea of what you're talking about, and not talk out of your ass, of course, but there's nothing wrong with walking into a conversation and going, hey, I'm not the greatest at this. It's not what I excel in. And this is what I like about it, what I don't like about it. And this is how I think it could help me. So, here I am. I know I haven't been talking as much about the actual process of the drawing in here, but this is supposed to be more my introduction video and to see if I can actually make this work. I've been fighting with a VideoMux for the past half hour, watching tutorials and reading tutorials, and I'm not a video editor, it's not my bag, I'm not a YouTuber, that's not what I do, I'm just an artist, and I wanted another way to share my craft, so there's been kind of a learning curve. The pose that you're seeing on screen now, though, to actually be a little bit on topic, is actually a double speed of a 10-minute pose from Line of Action. And these poses are completely random, you don't get to pick what you draw, which is part of the challenge. But as you can see, I do different layers. I sit and I use the transform option. That's not cheating either. If DaVinci had the option to transform things, trust me, he probably would have. Work smart, not hard. Well, do work hard, but you get my point. Use the tools that are available to you, and don't listen to anybody who says that you're not a real artist if you're not doing it exactly the way they do. It's a ridiculous mindset to be in, and it's harmful. It doesn't help anybody. Do whatever it is that you do the way that works for you. Try different techniques. If they stick, great. If they don't, oh well. It doesn't really matter. So yes, in my gesture drawing, I will occasionally do a quick transform of, oh, okay, the hips are at the wrong angle. So I go and I change it. Whatever. It doesn't really matter. It's more that you're getting the practice in with the volumes and the shapes and how everything works. Also, I apologize if the mic is picking up a ton of background noise, or isn't that good, because I'm using the mic that came in my Surface Pro. I don't currently have the money on me to buy a whole separate headset for this, but I also didn't want to wait to start doing this because I have the bad habit of procrastination where it's like, oh, well, I don't have this, so I can't. Oh, well, I don't have this, so I can't. So, here I am. Here's the possibly low-quality recording. I'll play it back and see how it works. And here's this time-lapse. You don't have to listen to my rambling by any means. I know it can be incredibly relaxing just to watch drawings appear, so please feel free to do that. And I hope that in these last couple of minutes, whether you're listening to my rambling or not, you are enjoying this video, or at least getting something out of it. Like, even if it's just, oh hey, this is how this dude does planning, or how he does legs, or how he does whatever. I can use that. Or wow, that's terrible. That doesn't work at all. I'm never going to use that. cool. It's great if you learn how not to do things for me. A great friend of mine named Hex likes to say that he lives his life as a cautionary tale, not a how-to manual. So run with it. Do whatever. Get something out of it. Enjoy it. That's what art's really all about. It's creating something that doesn't exist in reality as a way to cope with reality in some ways, and not maybe a direct conversion of, oh, I'm expressing how I feel, but just, it's nice feeling like a wizard for a few minutes where you magically make something appear on paper that wasn't there before, or on a screen, or wherever. So, to close out this video, thank you for watching and hanging around. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll hopefully be posting one of these weekly. So, thanks guys.